Good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. So this evening, I'm catching up with somebody that technically we'll have to talk more about. I don't know if he and I realize we do go way back, thanks to the virtual world. But he and I are interconnected through multiple communities. There's a primary one that's related to a prior client and now friend. Actually, we were friends, then client, then friends again. Well, we were friends the whole time. And I'll just go ahead and name drop now. Shout out to Vinnie Tortorich, the No Sugar, No Grains community, the NSNG way of life. And the gentleman that I'm bringing on today is somebody that I've known for a long time virtually from that world. And we may or may not have met at KetoCon. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's right. I thought we hung out, ate some meat together. So let me go be quick skinny on this guy, literally, because we might be talking about this. We're talking about weight loss, some health. This is definitely a health-focused episode, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle on Live the Fuel. Over 400 shows online, and I like to balance those three domains. And that's why Scott and I are connecting. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to deal with Scott and Scott. Sorry, it's just going to have to happen. And he and I are the same age. Well, to be fair, he might have some elderly experience on me because I will be 46 this year, but he's already beaten me there. So he's, again, as I hinted, NSNG community, no sugar, no grains. Okay. This is not about weight loss. This is about a healthy lifestyle choice. And we may get into a lot of that. But this guy also, threw himself into the ring in the surgical world. He decided to give a shot at gastric bypass. So you're going to understand some of that hope as well as challenge from that. And ladies and gentlemen, at the day of his surgery from that, he was at 552 pounds. 552, people. So just make sure you hear that. But he lost the weight. The surgeries might not have been the 100% answer. He might be possibly one of our strongest advocates for a NSNG anti-inflammatory lifestyle. I mean, he gave it a shot. It works for some, might not work for others. But again, he's been on the Vinnie Tortorich Fitness Confidential show many, many times. And again, we're talking about Adam Carolla, Dr. Drew. There's a lot of infamous people out there who understand now the importance of a healthy lifestyle choice and what really works versus pharmaceutical procedures, surgical procedures, and beyond. I'm excited to catch up with this guy because I told him we need to just rock some hot mics together because he actually was looking also for some business advice or some per se branding advice, or per se, he's just trying to do something good and create some awareness around his healthy lifestyle choices. And I said, bro, let's just rock the mics together. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Scott King, sir, welcome to the show.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
I just gave you like the longest intro in history. I think we broke a record tonight. So,
all right.
Am I all right with that? Are you cool with that?
That works for me.
Okay. I mean, so, dude, 300 pounds of weight loss.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there,
A little
bit. You've never been healthier.
Very true.
Let's talk about this because I follow you online, and it's funny because when people tell me that, it sounds weird. All right, and then I tell you that, does it sound weird? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
People are just keeping up with me, huh? That's a thing.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's some people online that people shouldn't probably be following or keeping up with. We don't really have time for that. But you set this like crazy series of unicorn goals, and you got me beat, dude. You jumped into triathlon stuff, and I don't know if you followed me enough, but I gave a shot at triathlon a few years back. I think it's important that you should know I don't know how to properly swim.
Yeah, that's
and I told the wife, I was like, well, let's just go ahead and do the try together. And she's like, yeah, but you haven't finished your swim coaching lessons. I'm like, dude, I skydive. I've been a hotshot wildland firefighter. Like, I mountain bike race. I'll figure it out. Well, you might not want to just figure it out when it comes to swimming. What are your thoughts on that? Let's just start off right there.
Well, I've always, even when I was at my worst health, I've always been a strong swimmer. But as I got into triathlon, I realized I was a strong floater and I wasn't a strong swimmer. Fat is very buoyant, and so I mistakenly thought that meant I was a good swimmer. That was a whole entire different beast, and my first try I did was a pool swim. It wasn't that bad. It's a short one. Then you go into open water swimming. That's a whole different animal. Then you got currents to deal with, even in a small body of water. It's yeah, it'll expose every flaw or weakness you have in any technique.
Yeah. I decided, I'll just go ahead and I'll just sign up for a sprint, right? Short distance. Yeah. What's the sprint length on a swim?
Roughly 750.
What does that mean? Is that a mile? Is it?
I think it's like 3/4, maybe a half.
Yeah, I didn't make it to the first buoy, bro. Okay, I was like, I'm relatively fit. I mean, and it's not a brag. It's just I've always, again, that's why I talk about health, then business, then lifestyle. Right? It's all three combined. That's my trifecta of success. I reference that as the freedom trifecta, creating true freedom in life. But I realized I was like, well, you don't just want to wing it on the swimming thing. And no. I thought I could. I thought I was confident enough. And then this cool triathlon I had signed up for, which was like, it was on a lake in northern New Jersey. So it was lake. It was not rivers, not, anything like that. But you kind of referenced currents. But it just so happened this sprint triathlon that I signed up for, I'd already attended it the year before because my wife competed in it with other friends of ours. And I just don't like sideline things. And I was like, I'm going to come back and do it the following year with you. So I'll go ahead and take some lessons. And I put them off. And then I went and finally took a few and figured that was enough. And then the night before, we check in at the hotel, and then I meet the organizers. And it's like, they're like, oh, by the way, I know you're newer, so it's okay. We have swim angels. Do you know what a swim angel is, Scott?
Yeah, yes, I'm aware.
What's a swim angel?
That is, from what I'm aware of, that's the people in the kayaks that come get you when you're drowning.
Okay, well, they didn't really say it like that. Oh, I love it. All right, so they sold that to us in the booking and reservation and getting your money process as if you're a very, very entry-level person who's just trying to try it out and see if you can, but they didn't put this in words, survive, which was the way my brain was going. Yeah, all my adrenaline junkiness fell right out my ass when this happened. So I signed up, like, oh, great. I checked the box. I would love to have a swim angel. I'm willing to accept my weaknesses where they're at until I could build those strengths. And the morning of, and they put all the beginners off to the very end. I don't know if, is that happened to you at all? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, cool. All right. I figured because you've now done a couple of these. I'm trying to catch up with you, Scott. Okay. So I check in and they're like, okay, well, you'll be this heat. I'm like, okay, so who's my swim angel? Like, oh, well, we're not going to have any for you. And I'm like, oh, crap. What do you mean? And they're like, well, we don't have. So the head of this lake's community and lifeguards decided that he pulled some of his kids, the people in kayaks and paddle boards and all that stuff, to do other important things. Now, here's the other thing. I got a 60-year-old dude standing next to me who's also waiting to check in for his, swim angel. And we both looked at each other. Now, granted, he's like, well, I'm wearing a full cold weather wetsuit. She's like, oh, you'll be quite buoyant. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, well, you're a smart mofo. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and check in. I hit the starting line. We drive in. Dude, that water, it was like a mossy green, murky. I couldn't see squat. And I'm like, this is not helping at all.
No.
At all.
No.
Have you been there? Not. Have you been there?
I have. And also never, my first open water swim, sighting buoys is a whole thing too. And I never.
Wait, hold on. Sighting buoys.
Sighting, like sighting visually, like sighting buoys.
Oh, that, yeah. No, that sucked.
No, yeah. So like I probably put more distance in zigzagging than I actually did in the actual distance I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because I wear glasses, obviously, and I have some hokey prescription goggles that were fogging and I could barely see. So I was literally having to stop in the water, look around to see where I'm at, and then rechart my plot.
Yeah. They kind of warned us of that. Like when I was taking my swim coaching training, I was trying to so where I'm located here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, you ever hear of Rodale? Rodale is is the fitness, like all the fitness magazine publishing, like Rodale Press.
Right.
Well, they sponsored a swim facility, a professional swim training facility here at Cedar Crest College, about 15 minutes from where I live now. So I have no excuses. I just haven't been back in probably about a year and a half. But anyway, I was like, oh, I'll just get like, and actually my swim coach, dude, his name was Scott too. So I was like, yeah. All right. So I thought he and I like bonded pretty well. And he goes, Scott, you can't, and he even warned me before I went to do the try. He goes, he's like, Scott, you're not ready. And I was like, listen, I respect you as my coach. And I warned you, I'm probably just going to throw myself into the ring. He's like, but the ring's probably going to throw you the hell out. And he was right. So sometimes you might want to listen to your coaches. I'm a coach in many other domains. I should have known better, but I still went and did it anyway.
Nice.
And I wanted to start the show off with this because when I look at you, and I've heard you so many times on Vinny's show, and you and I are in the same, no sugar, no grains community all these years. And it's just been such an inspiration working with Vinny, coming from a fan to then working for a while on the crowdfunding for the very first documentary film, Fat documentary. We're going to plug that quick because it's so powerful, ladies and gentlemen, listening to this episode. And then obviously he released Fat, a documentary too. Mm-hmm. And now he released a third, and then he's got the fourth. Actually, I think he's officially working on the fourth now.
Yeah.
It's so cool, right? And it's throwing yourself into the ring. And when I look at you, I'm like, dude, Scott threw himself into the ring more times than once, and you keep doing. And that's why, look, when you reached out, so part of the backstory here, ladies and gentlemen, is Scott's like trying to do something, and we're going to talk about this, where he's trying to. And I'm going to throw you right on the grill here, Scott. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like building a brand for yourself, because I'm a sales and marketing professional. And he had reached out because I obviously helped Vinny along the way and a lot of other people. And I handed that stuff off. Like, hey, Vinny's got a team now. He's got his assistant. Everybody's kicking butt. You don't need me. I love seeing clients just move on and grow. And I was like, listen, I don't want to charge Scott because he's so inspirational. And I love to just talk business, but business aligned with health. This is why I podcast: health, business, lifestyle. I'm like, listen, if people can learn a little bit more about their health, learn a little bit more about the business side of things, even if you're not trying to be this like startup entrepreneur, but just build per se a brand that people can align with, especially if you're doing it in a charitable mindset, depending on what your goals are. Because I started my own charity. I published my own book for charity. And then if that benefits the end result, right? A healthier lifestyle, a better lifestyle alignment. That's why I wanted to bring you on, Scott, because I was like, dude, he already understands lifestyle change. He's already had massive health impacts. He's changed. You've changed your fitness goals. You're doing triathlons. Now you're like, let's talk about some Ironman stuff. I was like, dude, we get this. I was like, let's just rock some hot mics and let's figure this out together. And obviously the typical Scott King fashion that I've learned to love. You stepped up. You didn't even ask any questions. You booked a time slot, and we're here. And I want to at least pause on that, because before we hit record, ladies and gentlemen, he was a little frustrated with the audio. And I've been there because I've been podcasting many years now, not as long as Vinny, but I do have over 400 shows online. And part of trying to get yourself out there is it's a learning process. So here's the best part. Scott's finding time in his day, and he's doing it over the iPhone. Nothing wrong with doing it over the iPhone. iPhone's got great cameras nowadays. But the annoying part of the iPhone is if you don't have just the right tech and you just plug a jack into that, because here's the annoying thing about iPhones nowadays. Apple, in their infinite wisdom of making millions of extra dollars, decided to kill off the audio jack and then make everything connect through the primary charging jack. Well, the struggle with that is that it disables audio versus video, or audio of hearing versus speaking. Now, for your benefit, Scott, they do make a special wide jack for that. So you can plug your lapel mic into that. And I was saving that for the show. And then you can plug in a separate set of headphones. And then it adds that level of physical jacking intelligence to be able to still rock that fancy mic that you were kind enough to bring on today that we're not using right now. And then plug in your headphones if you want to be able to keep life simple and live off of the iPhone, which I respect. Dude, if you're not launching a company and doing all these crazy like interviews and all this stuff, everybody needs to start somewhere. And that's why I wanted to kind of wait until this point in the show to set you at ease and say, bro, it's good. We're going to figure this out. Here's the best part. I'm going to throw this out right now because we're going to transition into the story. I got the gear. So when we're done with the show, you got to send me your address because I don't need it. And I'm going to send you some gear.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm beyond grateful. Thank you.
Well, one, I'm a gear nut. Two, it'll probably make the wife happy because she's like, all this extra crap you bought, are you using it? And I'm like, you know what? It's a very, very good point. So if I can help somebody else with the gear that I have, there you go. And I win.
Appreciate it, man.
The wife's happy. You're happy. And as a podcaster, I just can't see a brother in my inner circle. I would like to think he is there having struggles in the audio world. So that way, the next time you make an appearance, because I know Vinny has no problem bringing you back on, we can level you up a little bit. So,
hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So I'm done talking for a while. You got a hell of a backstory.
Yeah, a little bit.
We'll get to the branding growth thing. We just installed the importance of audio, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear people on a podcast, you like good quality audio. You like good quality video if you watch it on YouTube too. But we need to reach out and kind of, because when this show finally airs, I want this to be a beneficial piece of content for you, Scott, to help with this campaign, if you will, that you're trying to figure out. So let's dive in. The mic is hot for you. You're the guest co-host today. Why did I bring you on?
You brought me on because I'm taking on a big challenge in my life.
You think?
It's going to a little bit, and it's going to require something I hate, and that's help from other people. I'm just not that kind of person that likes to receive help or ask for help. So my last big thing I did was a half Ironman relay. I was a bike rider in Lubbock about a year ago now, actually just a year ago now. And it was harder than heck. It was windy, and I am not aerodynamic. So I caught all of the wind. But it kicked my butt, and I got lazy. And I didn't like that. So I kind of wanted to, I've always in the back of my mind when I started getting healthier, had a unicorn goal like you hinted at. And I am building up to completing the Texas Ironman, full Ironman in 2025, April 2025. So everything that, and I will do more sprints. I'll do Olympic distances. I'll even do a half, and I'm just not going to train it. Hopefully it'll work out on that day. I'm going to build up to that. But with that comes incredible expenses, entry fees, all that stuff. I mean, just simple stuff like hydration and nutrition stuff and that sort of thing. That, buying shoes, because I'm a big guy, I wear out shoes, bicycle stuff, everything has a huge expense. And with that, I got 3 daughters, and I've told Vinny before, I live in a trickle-down economic system in my house, and nothing trickles down to dad after having 3-year-olds.
So it's kind of backwards, right? It doesn't trickle back up; it always trickles down.
yes, absolutely. So, I rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, I'll have like equipment that I don't use anymore, I'll sell it just to pay for something, And I'm getting into the point where I'm trying to create, I guess you'd say, a brand or a following. I don't have much followers. I'm just not that significant to have a lot of followers. But I'm hoping to attract attention from businesses or companies that are in that realm, nutrition, fitness, health, bikes, shoes, everything, that might be willing to offer support. I'm not asking for anybody. Everybody works hard, and I'm not asking for anything like that. I'm just asking for me to get to a point where it would be worth a business's while to invest in me. And I hope that makes sense.
Well, let's pause on that. So, one, let's challenge you on a couple of comments, because I'm a tough love consultant. That might be a new business card. I don't know. So the point is this: like, you said, you don't have a lot of followers or following, and this is the challenge I give people all the time is, are we looking at quantity versus quality? And this was something that I had to teach Vinnie early on. Vinnie didn't want to hear it. Shout out to Vinnie. Just saying. I love you, bro. But I'm like, he's like 20,000. Everybody worth having. Now, granted, it eventually kicked in. We built a hell of a foundation. And then when his what's her name took over, Megan, it's cranking and they're doing great content. But I told him, like, a lot of it's trial and error, a lot of it takes time. And it was surprising because like Vinny has done a lot. But also I was like, listen, one thing that I told him I would never do would be to set up an account profile where we welcome in bots. I don't know if you heard of this, but like people hire bot companies and you all of a sudden you could spike your following by thousands. But it's trash. It's fake accounts. And one thing that also people don't realize, the side effects, let's say in the Instagram world, for example, you get a bunch of bots to follow you. Well, now someone looks at your profile and you're like, oh, you have tens of thousands of followers. Yeah, but are they actually interactive followers? So I don't know if you ever heard of any of this stuff. Is this something new?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I'm fairly aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm all about quality, not quantity. So you don't want that. Like, for example, like here, hold on. I'm just go ahead and share you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening right now, follow Scott on Instagram. And it's less of me with NSNG, no sugar, no grains, right? Dude, you have 1,300 followers.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Did you know that?
My mom must have made 1,300 new accounts.
I like it. But my point is, that's not bad. Like, you're over 1,000. So as somebody who's just been doing his own thing and just sharing his story, whether it be the food you eat or fellow people or even your workouts, you clearly have, now granted, I'm sure 1,344 followers. I'm sure a good percentage of them is probably from our fellow No Sugar, No Grains community, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
There's a loyal following there. We're always trying to look out. So that's a great foundation. I just want to set you at ease right there. It's a start. There's people who literally reach out, companies, because I have companies that have talked to me and they have 300 followers.
That's funny.
They just don't care. And what you're doing is you have a message, you have a passion, you have a statement, there's a specific theme you're going for here. So I just want to say good job.
Oh, thank you.
Don't beat yourself up too much. But then again, I know you. I've been listening to you on Vinny's show multiple times. It's a challenge. Like, I'm the one who started the before and afters NSNG. Remember when we started posting all that content? You're one of the biggest inspirations from that. So, like, literally, actually, I hate to use the word big, but yeah, you literally still are one of the biggest inspirations. Your transformation has been profound. I mean, the fact that a guy loses that much weight and you did it, and I need to bring the history back in here. It's not about Instagram followers right now. Let's just pause here. So people hear this show.
Yeah.
I want you to follow somebody like Scott King because, dude, you didn't lose the weight for health initially, correct?
Right.
You did it for your child.
Absolutely.
So we need to share that because as I say it to you, like literally the hair is standing up on my arm because I'm even though I'm an adrenaline junkie dude, like my wife's just like, every so often, like she could see me tear up if I watch like something really powerful. Like I see firefighters die in a documentary as a former firefighter, I lose it. I mean, it's just, it triggers that psychological response. We don't have human children. We're dog owners. That's our child. I have no problem being the co-uncle. I don't want human children. It's just, no one needs my offspring. Vinny and I have that in common. So dude, you realize you had to not just lose weight, you had to get healthy for your family. So let's share that.
Yeah. So like you mentioned earlier, I had gastric bypass back in 2006. Lost a good chunk of weight, and like a lot of people, I started putting the weight back on. And roughly 2016, 17, roughly, I was pretty much exactly to where I was when I had gastric bypass beforehand. So I was trying to have gastric bypass again because, oddly enough, and I say this in quotations, if you can get both or whatever, it was the only thing that ever worked for me. which is kind of ironic because I'm trying to have it again because it didn't work for me. So they denied me. The insurance denied me. I appealed repeatedly, and they kept denying me. So I honestly, I knew it was going to be my demise. I just hoped that I would go quickly and not. And it sounds bad, it sounds morbid, but the truth is, I don't want my kids to have to see a 10-year drawn-out struggle of me just deteriorating. And I just hoped it would be quick and they can move on. That sucks, but that's the truth. During this time, I was listening to Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew, and they had Vinnie on. And I just knew it was keto. In my head, it was keto. And keto just won't work to me because I don't know how to figure out anything. I'm not a planner.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just kept chalking it up to being the typical keto. I don't even know what a macro is, that sort of thing.
Macro, micronutrients, all that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I will get a half a day in and I'll stop doing it. So I downloaded this PDF just saying, screw it, I got to check this out. And it was a list of don't do this, don't do that. And I'm married, so I get those lists. I'm pretty good at it. And still didn't do anything about it. And one day we were out front in the front yard, and at the time my 2.5-year-old daughter ran out to the street. I'll stop you right now. Nothing bad happened because it's a very quiet street, but she was already in the road before I could even get out of the chair to get to help her. And then once I was out of the chair, I couldn't catch up with her. I was just that horribly out of shape. And it killed me knowing that I could not perform the most basic function of protecting my child because my health was that poor. So I just told myself I got to give this NSNG a try. And Vinnie and I have talked before. I was kind of like just floating in space for a while because I had no means to weigh myself that would read me. My personal scale and my doctor's scale.
You were over 500 at that point, you said, right? Yeah.
At the time, I thought in my head I was 450 pounds. But after I started losing weight, I started cleaning out my closet one day, and I realized I was wearing the exact same size clothing as I was when I had my gastric bypass surgery. And that was a size 62 pant and roughly a 7X shirt.
Wow. 62 waist on the pants. Wow.
Yeah, which that's a lot of fabric, and that's not cheap. So that was another, cost-effective thing or whatever. But so I would say I was doing it for a couple months, 2 months, 3 months, and clothes I think were feeling looser, but I didn't know if it was a placebo effect type thing, and I was just hoping, being wishful. And my wife actually, I would say about 4 months in, made a collage thing, a side-by-side thing. And I was like, hey, holy cow. I think there's a difference there. And let's just say 6 months down the road, I was able to actually get on the scale and it read me. And that was the first time in, 3 years that a scale was able to weigh me. And I was like, crap, this Vinnie guy's onto something. And I'm actually losing weight. And from there on out, I couldn't really look at the big picture because it was so overwhelming to think that I can ever get to a healthy weight. So I just try to do one thing after another, small goals at a time. Like, let's see if I can get a 3 in front of my weight. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. And you know what? I really took NSNG serious back in 2018. And if you would have asked anybody, I would have been the biggest skeptic on me being 300 pounds down one day. I mean, that would have been the stupidest thing I could have ever thought of. But it's saved my life, literally saved my life, and given quality life back to my family. I can engage with them. I could play with them. I'm not worn out all the time. Actually, I'm the annoying one wearing them out because I just want to go do stuff all the time.
Isn't that fun, by the way, when you become the annoying high energy person in a relationship?
Yeah.
Really, then you want to pause, right? You're like, wait a minute, that's your complaint? Really?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I have that fun with my wife all the time. She's like, could you just chill out? And I'm like, do you realize that you could be married to a man who's a couch potato. I'm not
Right.
that guy.
Right. like after this, my wife's doing some stuff right now, and she's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do after the podcast?" I'm like, I got a run to do. She's like, "It's hot. You can just hang out for the evening." And I'm like, I don't know if I can. I got to do something. I got to be active.
Well, great response, because I've been in and out of the fitness world for a long time. I used to obviously coach CrossFit. I've been a spinning instructor years ago. I always had a fitness gig on the side when I was doing, my corporate life before I was a wildland firefighter, and then before I became an entrepreneur and started my own company and everything else. And I remind people that the only reason I did that is because I was single at the time and I had freedom. But you can be married and still do that too. But I've always lived a life. I grew up on a farm, so you and I can align. Okay, I grew up like my dad. To this day, he actually, his business just ended, but he was a cattle broker. My younger brother's a cattle broker. I was born in Flemington, New Jersey. My dad had a 50 head of cattle and he had a dairy farm. And then when we moved to Pennsylvania when I was a kid in 5th grade, he bought another small farm just to make sure that we grew up around the responsibilities of raising your livelihood, is the way he put it. It wasn't about raising meat, vegetables, whatever. It was like, hey, we had a 15-acre farm. We outsourced the fields to save money, to not buy all the machinery, because that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we were too busy. And then, but we always had chickens and pigs and goats and cattle. And I had to take care of a 1/4-acre freaking garden, for God's sakes. So I'm very well versed from childhood. But I remind my family, because I can align with you. I love my family. This is not a derogatory statement, but they're all overweight. They stopped living the lifestyle choices of my childhood that they taught me. And Vinnie has brought this up many times over the years on his show, because I know you're a regular listener too, of Fitness Confidential. And he's like, you can't help people who don't want to be helped. You can't. Sometimes the closest people you love, your family, they're not going to listen. They have to pick when they're ready to finally listen. And they got to come to you or come to someone you recommend. A couple years ago, dude, then he's like, yo, when you're ready to have your parents talk to me, I'm not going to charge them. Happy to set it up. I had it all set up. They wouldn't place the phone call. Yeah. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
And so I had to take that deep breath and like, okay, you cannot help the unwilling. I knew this from the personal training world. I knew this from the fitness world. I guess, especially somebody who's crazy like you and me, always talk, especially early on, right? Early on, you're talking all about what's working and nobody wants to hear it. And then you're the crazy, wait, you're not eating sugar? That's very restrictive. Wait, you're not eating grains? That's very restrictive. Wait, you're only eating meat and vegetables? That's very restrictive. And it took me many, many years to just say, nod at them, like, well, listen, you let me know what works for you. Clearly, and I'm making the motions on the video, like up and down, like clearly what works for me is working pretty damn well. So clearly for you, sir, massive amounts of weight loss, transformational experience into becoming a freaking triathlete, future Ironmaner. It's working.
It is. And what's funny is I had quite a few people saying, I'm worried about you eating like this. I mean, yeah, I know you're losing weight right now, but it's gonna be unhealthy. It's raise your cholesterol. It's gonna raise your blood pressure. You know how much freaking healthy I am and smaller than I am than those people that were telling me that now?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you on board yet? Come on. I mean, I've already proved it. I have never in my life had to pay for so many blood panels and physicals in the last 5 years
to prove it.
Yes. Because my mom was panicked. She's like, I'm happy for you, but I'm worried about your blood pressure and your health and everything like that. And I was getting a physical every 6 months, paying out of pocket for some of those. And it just got to the point where, okay, I agree. Yes, there is something to this. That's So it's hard to, you get something crammed down your throat 99% of your life, and then you have someone else tell you otherwise and goes against the grain. That's a hard one for people to swallow all the time.
if it's outside of quote the modern norm, I want to emphasize the modern norm, people are surprised. But in reality, all you and I are doing, and Vinny and Dr. Anthony Chafee and Dr. Anthony J and all these amazing influencers that have been on my show, have been on definitely on Vinny's show. They're just doing what we did earlier. We realized, oh crap, we made a few wrong turns. We made a few wrong decisions. We may have gotten too smart for our own good, thinking that all this new science or whatever it is was working, and it wasn't.
Right.
We're back to the basics.
Exactly.
Right. Now, again, we get distract the rest of the show just on that subject, but I don't want to do that because I can remind people right now. You can go on VinnieTortorich.com, Fitness Confidential Podcast, well over 2,000 shows. Probably one of the grandfathers of the no sugar, no grains ketogenic movement before keto became a thing. Go pick a show. Scott's been on there multiple times. Just search, literally, because I made sure the search engine before I left. Debbie, the back end queen of the website. Shout out to Debbie. A couple of years ago, there was not a search option on the website. And I'm not trying to bust balls. I'm just like, dude, how do you not have a search option when you have over 1,000 shows back then online? Like, people need to be able to search for things. Anyway, it's just search Scott King. You'll find how many times you been on the show?
I think 6.
Yeah,
I think 6.
Strong work. I'm actually pissed off at myself because I haven't had you on sooner or more often. So I will kick my own butt on that. But again, I want this hour to really be about you. So again, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to challenge or question the ketogenic movement, the carnivore way of life, really, I don't know where you're at, Scott. I'm going to pause on that. I've actually become much more carnivore. To be fair, I've always been pretty carnivore, but I'm just like, yeah, people ask me all the time, like, that's very restrictive. I'm like, okay. At home, like right now, I got a pound of venison, defrosting. I got salt and stuff on it. When I'm done here, I'm just going to throw it in the iron skillet. Boom, done. People are like, that's it? It's like, that's all I need. It's simple. It's easy. I go out to restaurants. I tell people all the time, like, well, what do you do at a restaurant? I say, to not be a dick, I'll just say whatever you want to put on the plate's fine. But thanks to Vinny, I'm like, listen, if you need to put that meat jewelry on there, I still love that. That's a shirt. He's got to get that shirt launched. I will rock that shirt. Hold the meat jewelry, just the meat is the way I want to see that. But I'm good. So that being said, plenty of history in Vinny's world, even my world. On Live the Fuel show, I've had a lot of doctors and scientists on. We made a lot of wrong decisions over the past 10 to really 50 years. And it's taken people like you to take the supposed, quote, risky decisions to transform your life and then realize they weren't as risky as we actually thought, and then make smarter decisions moving forward. So part of your movement forward and part of this show is we want to talk strategy. So Mike's back to you, brother. What do you want to know?
Well, I've learned how my personality works is I need to have a goal. And by having goals, I stay really dedicated to my training, my eating, and everything like that. I announce it, so I paint myself into a corner and not look, do everything I can not to look like an idiot. If I just kept it to myself, I'm fine with letting myself down. So like I brought up, I look to gain support down the road from companies, and one of the biggest things, and I'm not trying to get any of the glory out of this whatsoever. I can care less about that, but I know what it's like, man, to be so hopeless. I don't feel like anyone else has been more hopeless than I felt like, and I want to use this platform and this journey going into this Ironman dream to spread the awareness and the word of NSNG and this lifestyle, to just let other people know that you can. I'm nobody special. I don't have willpower. I was just uneducated, and that's what I want to bring that to light too in this quest. And just get folks to know that, you could do this. It's just, here's the information. You could do it one step at a time. And I just want to broaden my reach to those people. And, as a side effect, hopefully gain some support from companies or whatever.
Sure. And here's the thing. If I had to pick a clean path of decision-making, that's not unrealistic. It's like right now, for the people listening in the podcast world, I'm actually playing his trailer off of his YouTube channel, which is really like some of those images the video starts with. That's before the gastric bypass, right? Those early
some of those
images.
Are, yeah. Correct.
Is this also, by the way, one of the videos your wife helped create?
No, she doesn't. She just did like a collage.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that group collaging. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. Here's the thing. Smart move, by the way. So kudos, because not all videos need to be professionally edited and designed and all this other stuff. All right. Because YouTube, quick tip for you, YouTube has become, if you haven't heard the term before, YouTube University. People now will search YouTube to learn about something versus Wikipedia, right? Because as we all know from Vinnie and other people, Wikipedia is not very trustworthy. And it could be full of BS, and maybe the stuff is checked and maybe the stuff is not, or maybe the stuff is jaded, depending on who's influencing that platform.
Yeah.
So part of brand growth is like let me set you these right now. You're already way ahead of other people. You have an Instagram, and not everybody loves Facebook, but you exist. And you're part of a very viral community, the NSNG, No Sugar No Grains community. Vinnie Tortorich's No Sugar No Grains community in the Facebook world is the name of it. And then obviously you exist on YouTube. You actually launched a channel. Do you know how many people that have paid me and I'm yelling at them to freaking turn their channel online? And hold on, let me stop. I got to stop playing the video. You actually have 56 videos online.
Oh,
Did you know that? Right here. This is what I see. See, Scott King. Now, your @ is @slackstring77.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It designated something years ago.
No, that's custom.
Oh, that is?
Yeah. So maybe somebody was helping you. Who knows?
Maybe.
How long have you had the channel? You probably don't remember. It's probably been up there so
No,
long.
I don't. I have no clue.
Okay. So again, this is some stuff. We're talking strategy, right, man? So we're going to get into some, I don't want to call it business because it's not like you're doing a business, but it's like, dude, let's talk about some of this stuff, right? So in the YouTube world, for example, and I want to give another quick shout out from a keyword recognition, right? You're smart. You also love Diamond Dallas Page, DDP Yoga.
Yeah.
Still doing that?
Not as much, but I'll tell you what, being a bigger runner really beats up your body pretty good. So I do it more for the stretching and loosening up my body and just make me feel better.
Okay.
But I don't do it so much as a workout. I do it more as like a stretching regimen.
Which again, part of aging, as Vinnie has taught many people, is the fountain of youth.
And I'm a lot older than you too. So
right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like a couple months.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point is, it's like, so whether it's DDP yoga or whatever, the point is this: you've picked certain brands that you're trying to align with, right? Something that has either inspired you, motivated you. So the cool thing is, what you don't realize is that you've actually already started defining some of what I like to call brand alignment, like brands that you believe in, that are a part of your, whether it be spiritual journey, your personal journey, whatever you want to call it. And that's part of that brand growth that you should look at. It's like, okay, well, hands down, you're an NSNG guy through and through. You've been on Vinnie's show multiple times. You clearly over the years did and or still do support or like brands like DDP Yoga, Diamond Dallas Page Yoga. So he's got a following. So right there, you've got two brands that you can align with that other people, clearly thousands of people, have also aligned with. So that's already, if you're okay and really confident enough to continue forward, right there, that's part of your background. That's part of your brand identity. So yes, you have to identify and create your own personal story, which I made the joke before you came on the show today. Like my little registration survey is one, it's really to help my virtual assistant team build out your show notes content when we publish the show. But the side effect is because part of the term, and because I don't edit anything on the show, I have popped so many newbie cherries in the podcasting world. It's not even funny. Granted, I only have 400 shows, but like people are like, I've never been on a podcast. I'm like, well, then you're coming on. Let's go. And I make them go through that registration process.
Yeah.
I could have easily just gone ahead and booked them manually while I'm talking to them, either in person or at a conference. But like, no, I'm going to put you through the process, because something as simple as, Scott, what's your bio? What do you want to have shared to the public world? Was that easy?
No, actually, it made me actually think about it.
Okay.
It was something for me. Yeah.
And you've been on Vinny's show 6 times.
Right.
With tens of really hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of downloads. Hell, what did he say? The PDF alone, the No Sugar No Grains PDF guide, which was free for years. And I've also told him for 2 freaking years to start charging for it. So I was so happy to hear that he finally flipped that switch. Great job, Vinny and team. But again, he's helped thousands of people with that free guide. But I always told Vinny, I'm like, you might want to like launch something like that. But he's old school, and I respect that. Like, being our friends, I'm like, oh, cool. You do you. Yeah. Go. Part of that brand growth, right? Go with what aligns with you, but also do things that puts you outside of your comfort zone, because that's where growth comes from. Okay. That could apply to gym. Like, I'm going to pick a new DDP workout, or you're going to pick a new biking route that might have more climbing on it than you traditionally train on, right? Because technically, if you're doing endurance events, you're going for distance, but every so often, to build structural integrity of your leg muscles as a cyclist, fellow cyclist, I got to do some hill climbing, right? You got to get those quads built up, right? So, or just go home so you can barely walk. There's that too. So, but the point is, we're challenging you to grow a little bit and start really putting your message into a clear, aligned fashion. That's where you're at. Just from me, before, I got to hop on the mics today, I went back over everything you had online. That's why I had everything queued up here and did some screen sharing for the video on YouTube, right? Because you do exist on Instagram, you do exist on YouTube. But one of the key things here, and this is not criticism, this is guidance. Yeah. Okay. So other people could be listening to this show right now once it airs and doing the same thing. And that's part of what I believe in too, is like, if I'm going to help you, I want to make sure it helps others too. So, for example, less of me with NSNG is your @ on Instagram. Is that truly who you are? Is that okay? Is that okay with your core branding? Because if that's going to stay that way, then we got to change the YouTube @ to that.
Okay.
That can be changed. You can, you can submit an @ edit and change in that world to align your channels, right? So everything's aligned. I did this with Vinny. Vinny existed in multiple ways when and it wasn't even actually what I was hired to do. Do you remember what I was hired to do?
No,
that's okay. It's okay. So,
wait. Weren't you, I thought you were there. You were not originally for the branding or whatever.
No, not the brand alignment. It was for the movie. It was for the crowdfunding.
That's right. No,
him and Serena. Here's a quick timestamp. We got to pause on this. So this is because nowadays he talks about it all the time. Like, he wanted a Corvette again after he survived cancer, and then decided it didn't fit him anymore and got rid of the Corvette. And this is before they moved out of California and moved to Virginia, right? So all of that. So him and Serena are in the vet, and they called me. And he's like, Scott, how's it going, man? I'm trying to like remember, because it's been a few years. It's like, Vinny, what's up, dude? Hey, Serena. Hey, Scott. Serena's like yelling from the background. I'm like, hey, Serena. I still geek out. Like, I don't get geeked out by famous people, but like, yo, man, she was a Bond girl, dude. Like, from some of my favorites Bond. Like, Serena's saying hi from the background.
Yeah. And she's talking to me right now.
Yeah. No offense, Vinny. I'm way more excited by Serena saying hi. So anyway, he's like, yeah, dude. Well, because when I heard, pause on that. When I heard they were going to crowdfund, I'd already helped a few friends and some startups with some Kickstarter programs. I hadn't done an Indiegogo campaign, but I understood the strategic alignment and the different things that can benefit a crowdfunding campaign. For example, like, if you're trying to put it all out there and get like strangers, not just your friends and followers, but just your strangers to step up and support an initiative, that's the power of crowdfunding. You don't know who you're going to find that aligns with your message. So when they decided to do that, right off the bat, I wasn't even asking to be hired. I was like, Vinny, just looking out, bro. As an SNG fan like you, I was like, here's some of my top 10 tips. I did some additional research before I sent it. This is what's working right now in crowdfunding. I'd helped with a couple Kickstarters. I just want to share this. Good luck, brother. And I sent the email because he and I had already been on each other's shows at that point in time. So he and I were already connected, friendly. And that's what triggered his phone call. Because when his marketing woman quit back then, because she didn't believe in Instagram and I think she just didn't know what she was doing. No offense. But, and then he was like, crap, like they're about to turn the campaign on, right? Peter, the director's helping run the darn campaign. And he's like, dude, I don't know what we're doing with Instagram. My marketing girl just left. We really need to make sure this is successful because we really want to see if the people want this movie. And I was like, well, I already believe in the message. I believe in the brand. Yeah. Let's rock and roll. Actually, his exact quote on the phone call from the Corvette, just to reconnect back in, was, hey, dude, do you want to make some money? and I was like, well, that's a fun way to start the conversation, Vinny. Right. But I was like, I don't know where you're going with that. And he goes, no. He's like, movie. I was like, okay, just make sure we're clear. And anyway, so long story short, that's how it start the professional connection together. And it was really in the beginning, just taking over his Instagram, just start. I was like, listen, tell me what you want going up and I'll just make sure it gets up. Cause he was busy. I was like, just get me content and we'll put it up. And then that went on for a few years. And we eventually, started helping out Pure Vitamin Club, Pure Coffee Club, all that stuff, and just bundling and that's all business stuff from behind the scenes. And then, then Megan, his assistant, took over, and we're good. And that's what catches up to today. But it was just fun helping with an inspiring project like crowdfunding a documentary film. And even he at the time wasn't sure if it was going to be successful. And he's now talked about this on so many podcasts. And I told him, like, dude, I was like, the biggest issue you have right now is you're not pushing content consistently. You're already ahead of him. You're pushing content consistently. We might just need some strategic alignment, some stuff like that. Some real consistency with the messaging. And that's what we were trying to find for Vinny. He was just putting up random things, but there was no publishing protocol. There was no content calendar is another term thrown out there for businesses or brands, right? Like, it's like you said, like if you set a goal, now you're going to find an excuse to put a strategy in place. Well, that's what I do for my clients. Like until Vinny, I never sold a service by managing someone's Instagram profile. I just threw him a solid. I was like, all right, well, I know you, I could be Vinny. Like, I love Vinny so much. I was like, bro, I'm just a younger version of you. My wife makes fun of me. She's just like, okay. Yeah. She's like, you're Irish, but she's like, you're kind of geeking out about Vinny. I was like, I get it. So people didn't know for the longest time that anybody DMing from his Instagram, anybody commenting back, that was me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Until Vinny had the confidence, which I kept trying to coach him. I'm like, Vinny, I need you to get on the app. I need you to be you from time to time, like you do on Twitter. Yeah. Dude, it took like years, like a couple of years for him to start. Like he'd text me like, hey, how do I get to my DMs again? You can laugh because you get it. It's Vinny.
Yeah.
So, again, we're not busting balls. I just love it because his mission, right? His strategy, his execution was about the pure message of a no sugar, no grains lifestyle, not just for weight loss, impacting healthy hearts, curing diabetes. That's right, people. You can cure diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which my own father has and chooses not to listen and continues taking drugs, which are pharmaceutical Band-Aids, which again, I don't want to distract the show. It's just a little frustrating. It's a human lifestyle triggered illness, not type 1, type 2. And now we have documented evidence and amazing experts that you and I both follow, Scott.
Yep.
Have proven that diabetes can be reversed. It can be healed. It can be cured. But it takes powerful people like you to take these risky steps. They recall risky. Like your own mother was concerned. I got to spend hundreds of dollars per test to prove to you that my blood work is freaking epic. And I'm never healthier now than I've been in years. But it's like, okay, they still don't believe you until they see the data.
No. And you know what? I'll just share this really quick, not to interrupt, but
oh no, please jump in.
I was on Dr. Tro's pod, or we recorded. It hasn't been released yet, but
oh, I'm excited, dude. See, that's great brand growth. Congrats.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I mentioned something that really hit me, and I think I can get through this without choking up. But so I'm one of those people that moved to Texas from California. I was bound to get kicked out of California anyhow. But
well, we'll remove politics from the comments, but I'll just say good job.
Thank you. So my parents were still in California who are now actually in Texas as well.
Hmm.
But but I would say it was about 2 years ago that. So every time my mom would visit, she would just get hysterical leaving, like above and beyond just, I'm going to miss you, when we're taking her back to the airport.
Hmm.
And then she told me one time about 2 years ago, the reason why I got so upset when I was leaving after visiting is because I didn't think I was going to see you alive again. Ooh. And yeah, talk about just
that's
a gut
that's not
right
a punch
there.
in the gut. That's like a punch in the heart.
It killed me too. And that just much how I felt like my health was so poor that I couldn't protect my kids. My selfish decisions were so bad, but my health was so bad with my selfish decisions and eating that I was destroying my parents inside, and they couldn't tell me. They didn't know how to tell me. So just that lifestyle was just really hurting so many people I loved. And, it's hard to tell them. It's hard for them to tell me,
Yeah.
But I found that to be a really, really, really powerful thing when she told me that.
You're a brother from another mother right now, because I can't align with you on the weight loss component, right? Because everybody's like, "Oh, Scott, you've always been lean and healthy." Like, no. I was like, yes, but like I was a bouncer when I was 21, and I wasn't like I was like a Vinnie sized guy, but without the gym commitment that he had, right? Like I wasn't like heavy, but I was, for my frame, I'm just under 6'4". Back then, I was probably, the heaviest I ever hit was 205, which to you, you're like, really, bro? Talk to you. You're probably like, talk to me when you have a problem. But I was I was fluffy.
Right.
I was young. Because I was just like, every night I just go back and eat the fried wings out of the fryer in the back kitchen behind the bar, grab a quick snack, eat the fries, didn't care if they put cheesy crap on it. Like I wasn't committed to a healthy way of life. And then I was just working my way through life, and I wasn't educated, right? I didn't take accountability yet for my actions and my decisions, and quote, living a more restricted lifestyle. I'm like, okay, what's I was like, if my restricted lifestyle is enjoying, fresh butcher sliced bacon over supporting a local chicken farm's eggs that are in my fridge, and then my grass-fed beef from a farm 25 minutes away, I'm like, if that's restrictive, I'm good.
Right. Exactly.
So I knew you and I would align on that to kind of bring that messaging to a close. Yeah. So back again, full circle back to that brand growth. That's what I'm talking about. You have a passion. You've gone through a massive transformation. You already have some of that content already out there. Part of your next step, which is scary, which you're already part of that. Like we already kind of hinted at that, right? Like when you do a massive shift in life, it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. It's going to put you outside your comfort zone, whether it be answering a survey to go on a podcast, or realizing, okay, wait a minute, I didn't know I could align my online brand images, right? Change the ad tags, find a consistent title for that. And maybe this leads to, as crazy as it sounds, you actually having your own like branded logo or something like that. People think, oh, I'm not trying to do a business. It's not about business. Even though we talk about health, business, and lifestyle here, it's an identity. You're just trying to hone your messaging and get it consistent, because you never know what one video is going up on Instagram is fine. But now, for example, YouTube supports YouTube Shorts. Are you familiar with YouTube Shorts?
Yeah.
Okay. Well done. So, dude, I have businesses that don't know what I'm talking about. So good job. So there's YouTube videos, long form, YouTube Shorts, short term. People like Joe Rogan and other viral fan people on YouTube, they blew it up in YouTube. Well, plus Joe Rogan's famous, but because they started mixing the content and chopping it out, saying, you know what, I'm going to throw a teaser short up, but then publish a long form episode, right? Teaser up, long form episode. Well, guess what? YouTube decided to say, oh, we're going to change the algorithms because we like that. And now YouTube incentivizes and likes to see, dude, I have shorts. I've been testing this. I have my Live the Fuel brand, but then I have my own personal Scott Mulvaney channel on YouTube. Why? Because I just felt like starting to separate the content out just to see if stuff would perform differently, right? If it's more aligned with my personal life, let's put that in Scott's personal world. Live the Fuels has grown into its own podcast world, its own brand image, fine. But years and years and years ago, I just stuck everything on the same channel. So I'm testing that. Not everybody believes in that. Everybody says everything in one place. Well, from the research I've done, the marketing conferences I've gone to, YouTube's algorithms have started paying attention to the consistency of content and to see if it all aligns on the same brand identity, right? So for example, what's a hobby that you love?
Cycling.
Okay. The cool thing is with where you're going right now, that directly aligns with your core brand identity. So that's easy. But let's say you liked whittling wood with a penknife. What does that have to do with Less of Me with NSNG?
Right.
From a brand strategy and execution, which is what I do. Like I said, I made a joke. I never did Instagram management for people, and then started doing it for Vinnie and others because they asked. And then I got rid of it because I don't enjoy it. It's like, that's not the point. I'm a strategist. Strategy leads to execution. You can have the coolest strategy ever, but then if you don't at least put the content out there and see what it's going to do, you just shot yourself in the foot. So all these companies who spend all this money on consulting and strategy and everything else, and then they fail to launch, you got to at least put it out there. You can always delete it later. Or in the YouTube world, they call it unlisting it. You can always do it later. Right before I left, handed off the management to Vinnie. Here's a tip for you. I went back over all of his old ass posts in YouTube, like old, before my time. Like they were publishing the podcast episodes, but with no video, because he didn't do video back then. By the way, I have no problem calling him out. Vinnie, I love you because you got that sweet weight vest I sent you. I was the original person who was after you for months to use Zoom, not the crappy old platform he used to use. Now it's all him and Anna do. But I was the early person. I was like, when I started working, I'm like, could you please just go over to Zoom? Like, just please, but it's fun. It's fun stuff like this, It doesn't make me the best expert in the world. I'm just saying I do the research because I'm a geek. I know what's working on multiple platforms and multiple brands out there. Even if they're not my customers and my clients, I'm going to share that knowledge. Now, I'll call myself out talking to you right now. I have a Fuel Up marketing channel. I launched it just to make sure I locked the brand identity down. But I'm so damn busy with because I'm executive level sales consultant. So I'm so busy where my primary income comes from. I just don't have the time. If I could find time to track down another virtual assistant and put them on that, I'll start pushing more content out. The podcast kicks butt, and I'm having fun on my own personal channel right now. For you, you've got your channels. Your hobbies align with your passion. Your hobbies are aligning with your initiative. So that's awesome. I love to hear that. Your YouTube and your Instagram can align. Maybe you set up you don't have to go buy a GoPro, but let's say you had a GoPro. Maybe you get the handlebar mount, because I own a GoPro and I use it hardly ever, even though my wife says I shoot way too much video. I'm like, well, anyway, you buy the handlebar mount, you put the GoPro on time lapse, and you can do this with the iPhone, and you just pedal. That's it. You do the whole training ride, you get back, and because it's time lapse, everything's going really, really fast, right? So like an hour-long workout is down to like whatever it is, 20 seconds. You could change, by the way, the pace of the time lapsing. And then here's a quick little hack. Do you use an iPhone?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So all iPhones have iMovie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I used to edit all of Vinny's shit over the years?
Really?
iMovie. All the videos that went into his feed. iMovie. When I built up like what you have done, all the still images, and we turn them into like a short video trailer of somebody's NSNG transformation, iMovie.
Okay.
You already have the tools.
Yeah.
You don't need to be this professional, like marketing sponsored thing, because here's the best part, especially in the YouTube world, people don't like overly polished content. Some of the most viral content is DIY, man.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So if this is making you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most new podcasters never launch. They literally, they'll record like 3 episodes. or one and then never launch because they're afraid.
Yeah.
There are thousands upon thousands of new shows literally activated every single day and then they never come to fruition. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying go launch a podcast. I'm just saying as an example, right? But I'm sharing with you these points that I watch and observe and I listen to in all the conferences I go to. And then we pick and choose and I train and I coach companies because I'm like, guys, like not everybody's meant to have a podcast. Not everybody's meant to have a YouTube channel. Here's another quick tip. What do you do professionally for the listeners?
I'm a project manager for a building company.
Okay. So keep you busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're a super dad.
I try.
And then now you're going to train for an Ironman.
Yeah. So, I have plenty of time.
And you got to be a loving husband.
Right.
And take care of your home with your wife. So would you say your schedule's pretty full?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So at the end of this podcast, if I told you you had to start doubling down on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and while you're at it to attract other companies, LinkedIn, why don't we just fire up Twitter and TikTok at the same time? Does that sound exhausting to you?
Absolutely.
Don't do it.
Oh.
It's too much.
Okay.
What are you doing right now?
Literally right now? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as far as where you post to right
now. Pretty much Instagram and Twitter for the most part.
But here's the thing. Do you have a huge following on Twitter?
No, about the same as Instagram.
But why are you on Twitter?
Because Vinny's on Twitter.
Because Vinny's on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Half the crap that I posted over the years was just because I wanted him to retweet it for his own fans, because there was stuff popping into my field of view that I knew NSNG fans would benefit from, but I cared less about I don't give a crap about Twitter. Don't care at all. Half my clients don't care. It's not their target. Some people care about TikTok. Some people care about LinkedIn. Some people care. I mean, to this day, even right now, Instagram is one of the fastest way to grow a brand online, beating out Facebook. Facebook became a pay-to-play platform, so I'm kind of like skipping through. LinkedIn, people call it social media. I'm old school. I still don't call it social media. I say it's a great platform to connect professionally. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to start pushing content out through your newsfeed and Instagram, through LinkedIn, it's okay to mix some personal stuff in. It's part of your professional identity. Do people in your professional world know that you're going through a lifestyle transformation? Do they know that you're training for an Ironman, stuff like that? Is that known in your professional circle?
Just with my co-workers in house, and that's about it.
Okay. So that's up to you if you decide to add that into your posting strategy. Do you need to? No. If you wanted to cycle some of that in because you have the free time, and if a company ever decides to go look you up, because that adds to your SEO, right? Your name recognition, then great. There's content there. It exists.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the cool thing about LinkedIn is it's very keyword rich. A lot of people don't teach this. LinkedIn, the way it was built and designed years ago, I joined LinkedIn 6 months after it was invented. I've been on LinkedIn a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing I learned a long time ago from people way smarter than me, it is very keyword rich, just like things like Wikipedia. But the good thing about LinkedIn is it's a very professional platform. Nobody can change your profile. You own your profile. You can launch company profiles, everything. All that stuff is under your control. So again, if you're trying to target a professional corporate, sponsors, stuff like that, and you want to make sure that you existed there, then great. Post there. But if that's not your primary part of your strategy, don't worry about it. We already know that Instagram is pretty viral. If Twitter and Facebook for the NSNG community is the most consistent, then great. Post to your family, your familia in the NSNG community, but make sure it's also going to your public profile too, which you're already doing. Mm-hmm. That's just a little quick social media synopsis.
Gotcha.
Right? But again, align the platforms. Get the YouTube changed to if less of me with NSNG is definitely your brand identity, right? Is that what it is on Twitter too?
Yeah.
So you've got two platforms aligned. Right now, YouTube's not.
Okay.
The only other else I would say is do you have a website yet?
No.
Okay. One thing I taught Vinny a long time ago, and Debbie, his web queen, and Debbie and I pulled our hair out for years. I love you, Vinny. but like kept telling him like, yo, platforms go up, they go down, they lose focus, they don't. There's an ebb and flow with the algorithms. The one thing you control is your website because you own it. It's your site, it's your headquarters, and your email list. Doesn't matter. Instagram could die tomorrow. YouTube could get hacked. Facebook is a pay-to-play platform already, so it sucks, but you got to exist. But all of those platforms should drive traffic back to your headquarters, the core of your identity. Now, I'm not saying this means you go spend $500 to $5,000 and build a website. Dude, you could go launch a free website on like WordPress tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? It's not rocket science. Yeah. But if you want to talk more, that'd be something I want you to think about.
Okay.
Because you don't know where this is going to go. You're just trying to hopefully maybe get some sponsorship for, the Ironman.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a whole other conversation you and I didn't even have yet. Crowdfunding. We crowdfunded Fat Doc, bro.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we did for Debbie, Vinnie's web girl?
What?
We helped her create an escape route from her husband.
Yes.
Crowdfunded it.
Yes.
I ran that. Now, granted, Serena set it up, but we pushed a lot of help for that, just to help her pay for legal bills and stuff like that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
People don't realize. I mean, there's people who post up GoFundMes for, my garage got blown down by a windstorm. There's people who inappropriately post GoFundMes like, I can't afford my trash bill. I don't know. There's all kinds of weird crap out there. But part of this step for you is you're getting outside your comfort zone. You're trying to attract other like-minded people to your mission. And one thing I already know about you, please correct me if I'm wrong, is you're not doing it for profit. You're not doing it to make money. You're just hoping that your own life story and transformation can inspire others. Am I pretty much on?
Absolutely. I'm not trying to make a dime off of it. It's just, I'm trying not to make me go broke doing this.
Exactly. Here's the thing. People crowdfund crap for way less energy. We saw that with Fat Doc, right? They were hoping to get $100,000. We hit $250,000.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even using all the strategies that I was trying to get them to do. Again, it wasn't all me. Let's be real. Peter, the director, was running that campaign. Serena, Vinnie, right? We were all working together as a team. And not all of my ideas went, dude, to this day, like, bro, NSNG belt buckle. Come on, would you rock an NSNG belt buckle?
As long as it's like a WWF one. It needs to be big.
I mean, I don't know about that. All right. my old firefighting hotshot belt buckle, it's in the other room, is about this big. I mean, it's not a Texas Bronco rider champion size, because now they live in Texas, But my point is, it's like, are you ready for swag? No. Do I have swag? Yes. I mean, I've literally designed my own Yeti mugs. Yeah. I remember a while back, I made one for Pure Coffee Club. I had the short mugs, and I was drinking one on the podcast, and people that are NSNG fans saw it on my podcast, and they were like, dude, I want an NSNG mug. And I'm like, I designed them as client gifts, and I only had 4 made, and I sent them to him and Andy and the team in California. So I was like, it's a limited run. If they decide to launch it, that's up to them. But it's stuff like that. So, but that's the cool thing about crowdfunding. Maybe you crowdfund this strategy and you have time. It's not till 2025.
Right.
And as we're coming to, we are over the hour. I hope you're okay on time here. I know you had some.
I'm good.
But this is why I wanted to get your juices cranking.
Yeah.
How you feeling right now?
Well, I was just actually going to say it's helpful because I hate using this term, but it's true. I don't know what I don't know. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was. I didn't even know I can edit that thing on YouTube to say,
have you ever edited that? You probably didn't even know you can edit that.
No, I didn't know I could do it.
So YouTube doesn't like it if you do it more than once.
Okay, well,
so as long as nobody else owns it, and if it's available, it's just like trying to buy a .com on GoDaddy. If nobody else owns it, you could buy it. Well, not me. YouTube, you don't have to buy it. You just have to change it in your settings. So, but it's stuff like that. So, but I want to talk more with you on this. So I'm taking you under the wing is part of the theme of today's show. So is I love where you've come from. I don't like knowing that you're kind of lost because you've had such a powerful journey, dude. I mean, it's awesome. If it's okay with you, I'd be honored to coach you a little bit and guide you.
I'd be beyond grateful for that.
Okay. Because I am excited to see, honestly, where this freaking goes. I was like, the only reason why when Vinnie called me from the car and asked me to help with the crowdfunding, I'm like, I told him, like, you can crowdfund this movie. He's like, yeah, I know, we're not sure. I'm like, no. Why do you think I sent you the tips? Like, you're going to hit the dollars. You're going to exceed your dollars. They didn't think they were going to do it. I'm like, I already knew it. I was like, yeah, all we got to do is put the actions forth. I knew the power of crowdfunding. And I really think for you, I think that is a amazing platform to execute on. And you have time. You have time.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Even if you don't hit your initial goal, you can relaunch. You have so much time.
Yeah.
It's not like you're trying to do this in 6 months. People like that. People like that, though. I'll say, like, people want to know, oh, wait, this is happening in 3 months or 6 months. It's something I want to talk more with you about and figure out what's going to work for you. And is it an Indiegogo thing? Is it a GoFundMe thing? It's definitely not a Kickstarter thing. Those are the 3 top crowdfunding platforms out there. You're not launching a company. You're not launching an invention. But we need a platform that you can align with, that people can be drawn to easily donate to, versus just saying, oh, I'm going to donate to PayPal. Here's my PayPal ad tag. It can work, but that's not professional, right?
Right.
And it makes it easier for people to align with you, because that's the other thing. People don't always donate right away. People don't always have it in their family budgets, right? Part of Vinnie's background. I guarantee you already have super fans and you don't know it.
Well, that would be humbling.
It's very humbling. Yeah. Dude, the first time I had fans years ago, literally, because people know as a former wildland firefighter, I like wood and I like fire and chainsaws and all the things. Like literally Saturday morning in a couple of days, the CrossFit coach of my wife asked her to ask if she could ask me to help him drop a tree. I was like, why didn't he just ask me? He's got my cell. Because like he's running this charity golf event that I'm organized people for. We're doing it's a new thing, a new endeavor for the gym. And I was like, yeah, I got you. And I was like, why didn't you just call me? She's like, he was afraid to. I'm like, I don't get it. And she goes, she's like, well, he's weird about you and the podcast and everything else. I'm like, I'm nobody special. I'm human just like you. I put my pants on the same way. I take a crap the same way. Like, dude, just so I called him. I'm like, Case, man up, bro. I was like, if you need a tree drop, just ask me.
Yeah. I'll tell you this though. At KetoCon, I did have a few people that recognized me and they're like, oh, can I take a picture with you? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I apologize in advance. I'm going to horribly disappoint you. I'm not that cool.
But that's part of what we're going with here is that people who hear this, not everybody needs to go launch their own brand and do all these things, but you've clearly have found a bigger mission, a bigger inspiration. You're trying to hopefully inspire other people, or at least connect with other people that may already be going through what you've gone through. Why else would you have gone on 6 podcasts on Vinnie's show alone? Why else did you go on Dr. Tro? You're already at that point of personal growth / professional growth where you realize this is bigger than you. I don't know if that's what you've actually put in your own head. As an outsider looking in, I already feel that coming off of you. Am I wrong?
It's kind of a neat thought. I mean, yeah.
Granted, it's your own personal goal. I want to do an Ironman. Yay.
Yeah.
But come on, dude. How many people have like, oh my God, dude, look what you've done. Your own family didn't believe in you, or maybe they did believe in you, but I'm saying they didn't believe it could happen.
Right.
Fast forward to today. Have you asked your mom now, does she still worry about seeing you and then leaving and then not seeing you again?
No. And thank God they live 40 minutes down the road now. And that's awesome.
But let's be real. I don't think she worries anymore.
No, not at all. And as a matter of fact, she tries to turn people on to my journey that might need help.
See that?
because she has enough confidence in that she might change in the build.
Your mom's one of your cheerleaders, bro.
Yes, absolutely.
Look at
absolutely.
that. So there you go. You don't realize there's a corner. So I've done so much charity work over the years. I remind before I started my charity, which my book that I published benefits, it was just like, you don't need like 50 people running an organization. It'd be cool to have that or whatever. But it's like, dude, I just wanted a place to stick my profits. Like I hard coded my business. So right now it's 5%, but it's going to increase. But 5% of all my gross income before I pay myself, pay anything else, goes to charity. So I could say I'm a for-profit, I'm a non-profit supporting organization. The best part is when you sign a percentile, as I increase my success, the charity benefits right along with me. And I learned that from Michael McAllowitz, best-selling author of Profit First. And also from California, since you're a Cali guy, there's a big real estate influencer out there years ago, Cole Hatter. And he had started he had it for 5 years. He had an entrepreneurial conference called Thrive, Make Money Matter. And part of that theme was, it's okay to chase money if you're doing it for good along the way. And he was more of a religious dude, but part of that story was, he's like, well, think about it. If you hard code your success with whatever it is, whether it be church, if you're a religious person, or if it's a homeless shelter, or helping kids have homes in Mexico, whatever. As you charge forward and succeed and grow, there's something being brought along with you and succeeding with you. And I decided that was an important part of my identity. And that motivated me, and that inspired me. And that's what I'm getting off of you is, yes, dude, how cool would it be to do an Ironman? Badass.
Right.
But now think about that journey. Think about all those posts that you're going to take time out of your life to generate, get up online, videos you're going to record. And again, maybe it's only 5 people, maybe it's 50 people, but those people who might comment and say, wow, you're so inspiring. Wow, thank you for doing this. Wow, I want to do this. You don't realize that what's going to come out of this. Just not to put you, in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
But you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I do.
This is why I love what I do. It took me years to get here. That's why it took me years to figure out that, oh shit, I'm a strategist. I like to strategize and then help people execute, including my own self. I had to get out of my own way over the years. I never planned on publishing a book. That was never in my goals list. I never planned on launching a podcast in 2016, right? It was just like, all of a sudden when something clicks, you know what? I got to take action. There's that what if.
Yeah.
And when I look at you and I watch your following and I watch what you do, and when you reached out to me, I was like, I felt it. I was like, dude, I got to help Scott. So besides, you got a great name. But
agreed.
But anyway, so it's not about me. It's about you. I want to work more with you. I want to help you out.
Thank you.
As a fellow cyclist, as a fellow NSNGer, I can't say fellow massive, most epic level of weight loss ever. I don't have that in my basket.
That's not a bad thing.
Well, again, I mean, everybody's like, dude, you must have made great genetics. I'm like, no, look at my family photo. It's just, I've just chosen when I flip a switch, it's flipped. Right. I think that's something where Vinnie and I align on, is like, it's not I'm just committed. Let's go. And I want to use that fire that's within me to help you along this journey. I can't promise where it's going to go.
Right.
But if it sets you at ease a little bit and we can start doing some strategy sessions, and because I want you to own this, I don't want this being me. It's got to be you.
Right.
That's part of me. If I take somebody under my wing, I don't care. I mean, I don't need it it's not a part of my business strategy, if that makes any sense to you. Like,
absolutely.
Like, dude, like I know things, and if it could benefit you, awesome. It's kind of how Vinnie and I started out. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Anyway, so that was a secret goal of today's show. That's why when I told you, I messaged you back. I'm like, yo, if we're going to rock the mics, let's at least record together. It generates new content for you to then eventually put chunk out, maybe use on Instagram, use on YouTube, which was what I kind of hinted at you. But now I can talk to you more about talking more in the future. So
I'm excited, man. And I greatly appreciate you.
So listen, this was, we're over the hour. We're actually coming up on an hour 30. So I need to let you get back to your life podcasting can go long. Vinny's done it. I asked my guest co-hosts to help leave behind some closing comments. For years, it was just like, hey, what's some final words? Then it became, and this is where I'm going to challenge you, because it doesn't have to be perfect today. If nothing else, once you and I start working together, I want this to be dialed in. What is a legacy message that you would leave behind? Your own inspiration, how to inspire others, that everything else you've done up until today, if they forget everything else we talked about in today's podcast, this is Scott King. This is what he's possibly leaving behind in the world. God forbid you or I get hit by a car tomorrow, whatever that, all that crap could happen. Like, what are some thoughts? What are some things you'd kind of sum things up and kind of leave behind for the listeners?
Yeah, kind of as we're talking, one thing that just popped in my head, and it's just pretty simple, straightforward, is I would just like to let people know that you're better and you're stronger than you think you are, and you just need to find that. That's it.
No, you put a big smile on my face, brother.
I appreciate it. That's the fortune cookie version.
I've had authors on the show and like people that are like pretty big wig, and they, next thing you know, like I look at my timestamps report when I get the stuff ready for podcasting, and they ramble on for like another 5 minutes, like 10 minutes. And like, I let them go.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. You should be able to just chunk it down to a powerful statement. You nailed it. So you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Right. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, all right. Hang tight. I'll give you a proper goodbye off the air. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott King is on a mission. There's more to come. So again, on Instagram, follow him at Less of Me with NSNG. On YouTube, you can search for Scott King by name. His banner is Less of Me with NSNG, but the @ tag for now is at slackstring77. And again, we'll get that updated and get that dialed in. And the cool thing about old @ tags is they still send you to the channel. So once you do change it, there's still a transitional period. And then there'll probably be another podcast after this, because we'll have to talk about updates and where we're going, because this feels like a campaign, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you're going to follow him for now until we possibly set up other things. So thanks for tuning in. Scott, thank you for making all the time today. I'm excited to work with you more. Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle. Go search Scott King on VinnieTortorich.com, VinnieTortorich.com. That's probably the most amount of his own brand exposure outside of his Instagram and his YouTube. We're going to find a way to get you guys access to more of this stuff moving forward. Stay tuned. And remember, you too could live the fuel, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.